Hey, the Colorado Avalanche signed a couple of guys that you probably won't see play in the NHL for at least a couple of years. So that's cool. More interestingly, the playoff races are getting crazy. Let's talk about it. Start the show. To the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by Bet365. We got Biggie, we got AJ, we got Rudo coming into you live. Avalanche off day, fully off today, so an easy one for them. And then a very late game tomorrow, so kind of a 48-hour window of off time here. But that does not mean there aren't interesting things going on. A lot of college UFAs getting snapped up around the league, including the Avs signing two. Isaac Posh in goal, and then Cooper Gay as well. Cooper was a dev camp invite for the Avs this season, and had a pretty breakout year for obviously an older college guy, but put up 30 points in I think it was 31 games. Solid year for a guy that was who really knows. With any of these guys, of course, there's a runway to the NHL for them. And then Posh had a really strong statistical year at St. Cloud State on a pretty bad team, but he's a goalie, so even more. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, you can compare guys, apparently to anybody. So they say Gay is like, you can compare him to McKinnon. If he doesn't get to be McKinnon, he's a bust. No, I'm just kidding.
Heard it here
I'm
first.
Just sarcastic from yesterday's comments, but no comment on that. No, I'm saying there are guys that are late bloomers, right? You never know. So, we'll see what happens with those guys, and you show up in camp and you turn pro and see how you are, So in the net, it gets to be a little crowded if everybody gets a QO like Trent and
I'm not sure how everybody's going to fit.
I'm not sure how that works, but whatever, Again, can never have enough people. So if you pick the ones that are good. So, if one's better than the other one, then you keep that one and you move the other guy.
A good sentiment, but you can definitely have too many people. There is a 50 contract limit.
Yeah, exactly. So they must have an idea. I mean, not that the Avs do things on a limb. So
yeah,
maybe there's someone not getting QO'd. Who knows? We'll see.
One way or another.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with the goalie in particular, just because Trent Miner's been really good for the Eagles this year. Mandolisi's been pretty good too. Adam Scheel has been pretty good. So, they've had three guys who have performed well at the AHL level, and then they just signed a guy. And oh, by the way, their top draft pick, Ilya Nabokov, may or may not be coming across to North America next year.
Yep.
So, some decisions are going to have to get made, because I don't know that you're going to carry 5 goaltenders on NHL contracts who are not in the NHL.
It gets real crowded real quick there. And that you even add on top of that the couple of other drafted goalies they have from last draft. And yeah, there's a lot of goalies in this system right now, for sure. It gets crowded quickly on that front.
Yeah.
Not that
luckily, though, Unin and Cloutier are not going to cause any kind of run in the system. Yeah, because those guys have a ways to go here. So,
which
I would just like to see them someday.
Yeah,
even in a dev camp.
It's interesting from the top. Even I know we were going to get into this, but we can take a look at the Avs goalie situation with the Blackwood extension. He's your starter for the foreseeable future, and you have Wedgwood next year. If Nabokov comes over, it does feel like that makes at least some level of sense there. If Nabokov can come over and have a good year in the AHL, he should at least be in your third goalie conversation. But with this many bodies, I guess I don't know. Is there a world where Nabokov staying in Russia next year is the correct move for the Avalanche?
Sure. It's goalies, I don't know what the plan specifically would be. It's not like I don't think, just given the year that Trent Miner has had, that you should give Nabokov the starter's net in the AHL next season. I don't think that you should guarantee him that,
Sure.
but I mean, you should at least. It wouldn't make sense for him to come over and be like, "Well, I'm going to play what 30 games, 25 games in the AHL."
Yeah.
That wouldn't make sense for anybody involved. That's not what you want him playing games. So, another year in Russia wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for him. It would be fine. I don't know that there's, just given the extreme volatility of goalies in particular, I don't know that there is a like really strong argument to be made that either direction is the correct one.
I mean,
So
that's
I don't feel super strongly about it. I just thought it was kind of a curious thing to see. Oh, the Avs are in the college free agent market. Great, makes sense. Totally expected that. Oh, it's a goalie. Okay.
the interesting part is these decisions will have to get made, whether it's Miner or Nabokov or someone else like Posh. Yes, Blackwood is your starter for the foreseeable future unless things go crazy, which means there's only one NHL spot really up for grabs for the likes of Miner and Nabokov within the organization. And it gets difficult to hold on to too many of those guys at one time, really fighting for one single spot.
For me, a goalie, you need a net, wherever the net is.
Yeah,
And sometimes
for sure.
goalies go play in the ECHL because it's better for their development to play. I mean, look at Trent, you know what I mean? Like in Salt Lake, right?
Yeah.
So as long as, the plan is for guys to have a net, then I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? Again, especially development, you got to preach patience. Unless you're a Celebrini or, you know what I mean? Like those first rounders that are really coming to play right away. It's rare, but we do have the example. So that's what's shoved in our faces, right? Oh, but Celebrini did it. Or, at the end of the day, you got to preach patience. You got to really take your time. You got to develop. And if the best way or the best course of action is for Nabokov or, how do we say it? Nabokov or Nabokov? Whatever.
Nabokov, I
Nabokov.
think is correct, but you're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah. Me and Russian last names, I'm not good. But anyway, then if that's the course of action to stay there, he's in a pro league there, and that's what they feel is bad, then so be it, right? I mean, that's okay. And then you get two nets at the American League level. And again, time will tell. We'll see what's going to get. The water is a little murky right now, meaning like because of dates and stuff like that. So we're not too sure, but we'll know by then, right? If he's coming over or if guys are getting QO'd and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to dictate the course of action that they're going to take next year.
Yeah, it's weird when you have conversations like this, given where the Avs are as an organization, because you always have to be filling the pipeline, right? You always need to be adding guys, and especially a team that is trading away as many draft picks as the Avs have been, you have to target things like college UFAs.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'll put it this way. In previous years, it feels like there might have been a little bit more opportunity for the Avs, and there was a little bit more shine that the Avs are able to go get guys like a Sam Malinsky or even like an Andre Pavel, where it's like maybe you see a pretty quick timeline to the NHL for these guys as college UFAs. These ones feel like the path would probably be a little bit longer. Don't expect quick turnarounds for the UFAs that they signed today.
Yeah, for Posh certainly, just because goalie, he's gonna need time, right? I have absolutely no idea how to feel about Cooper Gay. We saw him at development camp one time.
Yep.
We thought nothing of it. I don't even know if we went back and watched all of those shows. Did we even talk about him?
I doubt it.
Probably not.
Yeah, I saw the thing that they had signed him, and I was like, why do I recognize this name? And then, like, we're getting ready to go live on air, and I was like, right, he went to dev camp. Right. Cool.
Yeah, big dude.
It was him and Chad Hillebrand that were the large bodies at dev camp.
Yeah, and I liked Chad Hillebrand, so
he was hard. Naturally. He played hard.
Yeah, he did.
Yep,
a little too hard at times. He got a little reckless out there. Yeah, he had a good season. He scored a lot of goals. He's a big guy. we'll see how it goes. But you know,
You got contract
even
spices,
with
roll the dice. Cool. If something
yeah,
happens, great.
like the Avs absolutely have to try and get something going here
Yep.
with some cheaper guys, and next year it will be fun to see what happens with Ivan, Nikita Prishchapov, Mara Zhedlishka
Yep.
in training camp. I'll be excited to see what happens with those guys, where they are in their development, because those were all guys that gave us a little bit of bottom six guy hope someday.
Yep.
They got to do it. I know Nathan McKinnon was like, young players are useless, but you got to get them somewhere. You just have to
And
get guys
players
on
are
the team
also cheap. So,
somewhere.
yeah.
Put that away.
So.
No, is that what I said yesterday?
I forget.
Not bless you. Put that away. Whatever that means. Put that back.
Yeah, it's
So, with
yeah.
these guys, it's like this is kind of like the Avs news of the day. Nate,
Yeah.
we'll see, but really, like, this won't be a truly intriguing pair of signings, and at the very earliest until I guess the like prospect showcase thing that's coming to Colorado.
Though they got called up, how's that? If ever, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
look, Logan O'Connor was a low-scoring college forward at DU before he became Logan O'Connor, the mayor of Denver. So it happens. Like,
he's got two jobs now: pro hockey player and mayor. Good for him.
Absolutely strangest career arc. Like bottom six guy in college, low scoring guy in college, and then his point production
monster
doubled
in the AHL. Yeah.
Like, excuse me. And now look, he's one of Colorado's most reliable depth forwards. So that's the dream. Keep getting that.
Logan O'Connor is the balance, though, right? Logan O'Connor is now the reliable veteran depth forward that's making $2.5 million. And that's why you need a young, unknown, whatever guy making $800K, because you're also going to have to pay a bunch of other dudes this offseason. So it's where the balance strikes
choices
for something like that.
It's a cycle.
Obviously not very big news relating to the Avs right now, as these guys will have no impact on their push for the last 3 weeks of the season and the playoff run that they're about to go on. Maybe they could matter for the Eagles. I don't know. We'll see. But
for a really good Eagles team, I don't know how much they're messing with.
I know they're the 1 seed in the Pacific right now. I wouldn't touch it, but
they're really good.
It's impressive. Looking at the Avs though, and we've talked about this a lot. AJ, I wanted to get your quick thoughts on this. Given where the Avs stand, they're 6 points clear of Minnesota, I believe, with no games in hand. And yeah, there we go. Perfect. Tiff even has the standings. And they're 3 points behind Dallas, but Dallas has 2 games in hand. At what point do you see the Avs just accepting that they're the 3rd seed and it is what it is?
It's coming quick. I mean, I think I think Jared Bednar's answer last night was pretty illuminating when they asked him about it, and he was like, it's kind of on the back burner. Like, I'd like home ice, but it's kind of on the back burner, because I think they know. Yeah. They can look at Dallas's schedule and see, oh, hey, they get the Edmonton Oilers without Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid.
Must be nice, yeah.
They play Seattle twice this week. Like, like it's not it's not gonna happen. It would take a serious upset. Colorado would more or less have to win out to put real pressure on them to do it.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I don't see Minnesota catching the Avs either. So,
Minnesota's not only are they not catching the Avs, but their struggle is, can they just keep their spot as it is? Again, it would take a lot of work for them to fall out of the playoffs. I know people will go, "Oh, well, they're only 6 points back of the wild card or whatever," but and that's a lot in 10 games, but they're fading pretty hard right now, so they need to if Minnesota goes 500, I think they're fine.
I would
if they
agree.
go under that, they're in trouble. They open up the door to be in trouble.
Things get
Colorado,
dicey.
unfortunately, is probably
Pretty
where
safe.
they are.
Yeah. Pretty consistent. I do want to get more into that wild card conversation, but before we do that, we do need to pay some bills. So let's jump over and make sure we're getting that done. As of course, this podcast, we're not Kivy the cat here, not just yet, is brought to you by Bet365. Make sure you get in with Bet365 and the DNVR 365 code. When you do sign up with that, you put $10 in your account, you bet $5 on anything, you get $150 in bonus bets. Obviously, March Madness going on right now. You can get a bunch of crazy deals on that, whether it's parlays or specific bets or bonuses or boosted bets, tons of stuff there. Good bets on the Avs out there too. As always in the NHL, you also get the early payout. Anytime your team goes up by 3 goals or more, you get paid out immediately. So if you bet on that Montreal game the other night, you weren't stressing. You got paid out, and then things got close. You already made your money on that game. Get in with Bet365 today. Make sure you're using that DNVR 365 code. And of course, when you do gamble with Bet365, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. And once you've won a few bucks on Bet365, go pick yourself up an ice cold Coors Light. Go jump in and choose chill with Coors Light today. You saw me drinking it on the watch along the other day. When you know what, the Avs won 5-2. I was chilling. We were chilling. I mean, honestly, that was a pretty chill game. Detroit made it pretty chill. You can get Coors Light delivered right to you. If you want to chill, you don't even have to get up off your couch. Head on over to CoorsLight.com/DNVR today, and Instacart will deliver it right to your front door. Of course, you can always find it in your local liquor store, too. They're available pretty much everywhere. Brewed right here in Golden, Colorado. Go get with Coors Light if you haven't already. Also, have we announced our Friday thing yet? Can I talk about that? Okay. Yeah. Coming up, baseball season. We're doing Rooftop Fridays. You can drink some Coors Light, have a great time, hang out, watch some baseball, or just vibe and enjoy the games. You know, enjoy hanging out with the DNVR crew. Coors Light also providing the beer for that. So make sure you check it out, thednvr.com/events. Make sure you check out CoorsLight.com/DNVR to get it delivered right to your front door. Choose chill and make sure you choose Coors Light with CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Of course, please drink responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. I wanted to start with that. Well, actually, let me start with this. Just a little fun fact about the Central Division. There is one team in the Pacific that has more points than the 3 seed of the Central Division, which is the Avs. And there are is it the Atlantic or the Metro? One of the Eastern divisions has no teams with more points than the Colorado Avalanche as the 3 seed.
It's the Atlantic.
There you go. Why is the Central Division always Thunderdome?
It had what was it, last year? It was kind of a down year.
Yep.
Where it was like...
Well, I'm like, look, maybe finally the Central Division is going to be like a normalish division. There's a team that's good or two. But it just always seems like the Central Division ramps things up when it gets down to crunch time.
It's hard to say it was a down year, honestly. Last year, Nashville had a 99-point season as the top wild card, and St. Louis and Minnesota were the first 2 teams on the outside of the playoffs. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe the better question is why is the Pacific so not good every year?
True. I can't.
Those are long rebuilds. Bluff, Anaheim.
Yeah, California's got one good team these days. So,
yikes.
Oops. I don't know. I always just find that conversation interesting. And obviously there's a Avs tinted bias there, but it just seems like more years than not, the Central is just an absolute slog to get through of a division. The Pacific has the 2 worst teams in the league this year.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Pacific, that's not true. Chicago exists. But the Pacific has the worst team in the league this year in San Jose. I don't know. When you look at the West especially, when did the West become such a haves and have-nots conference, I guess? Because they truly, the teams that are bad in the West, and the teams that are good are at the top.
Yeah, they're real bad. Like, you look at the East the last couple of years, there have been a couple of teams out east that have not been very good, but it's been even the bottom of it has been pretty competitive.
Yeah.
And then you look out west, and it's like Chicago and San Jose have just been awful.
Disasters.
Anaheim has also not been any good for a while now. But it's a good question as to why it's so top heavy out west, but the east is like
Normalized, sort of.
anec-
Yeah.
yeah, anecdotally it feels like 6 through 16 out east is always pretty interesting.
Yep.
But it's a gauntlet, though, the 1 through 9 in the West. I mean, it's a mammoth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's easier to get out of the East than easier to get out. I know that's not what we're talking about, but
This
kind
year,
of, right?
I would agree with you because I
Oh.
think the East is last year it was like 1 through 7 really good, right? Any of those 7 teams you could talk me into making a run. This year it's 1 through 5 because once New Jersey, Ottawa, Montreal, the Islanders, the Rangers, Columbus, like you start to get into really like immediately you're like, okay, Ottawa, I just don't believe in Ottawa. And New Jersey unfortunately has had all the things
when
all the
Jack
bad
Hughes
things
got
happen
hurt,
to it and
Yeah.
just kind of stole all the thunder
Kovacevic
from
just
them.
needs to play better. That's it.
Okay,
That's
calm
it.
down. You can
Oh
be a head
my
coach.
I'm sorry.
God, that was nuts, dude.
Uh,
Yeah, I also think we're talking about this, but I also think I was thinking about this morning actually. Has there been a year in which you guys, maybe this isn't true for you, but it certainly is for me, where the number 1 seed in each conference I just don't take seriously as like a cup team. I'm not looking at them going, that team scares me come playoff time. Because Washington and Winnipeg
yeah, they
both
both
just feel like the PDO Olympic champions this year, and I'm
Yep.
just not buying that they're going to be crazy, crazy good in best of sevens. Neither one of them.
It's weird that both conferences have one. Usually there's one team, and maybe it's not the
Yeah.
President's Trophy winner, but there's one team where you're like, yeah, this team has just had that year. But it feels
Yeah,
like
last year
both
was
of them
Vancouver.
are. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Maybe we do end up with a year where it's not a 1 seed that really goes on a deep run, but maybe Vegas will break that. We'll see.
No, thank you.
I'd rather not, but just being honest about it. What I do say though, and like, sure, you can say that portion of teams in the East it's a slog to get through, but we've also seen a pretty wild battle for the Western last wild card spot too. And part of that, to be fair, is Calgary and Vancouver are trying to give it away, but St. Louis has seemingly come out of nowhere, and now you would have to think are the favorites for that spot. I know Calgary has games in hand on that, but I guess my question is, where are you guys at with that last wild card spot in the West? Are we taking St. Louis seriously? Is this a surge? Are they for real? Where do we see Calgary trying to find their way back into this? Does Vancouver or Utah have any real hope left?
I don't take Calgary seriously, but go ahead. No, feel free.
No, I was going to say, if I'm a playoff team, somebody said it in chat. There's 2 ways to look at it, so hang on. I wouldn't want to play St. Louis because they're just like a wild dog.
Nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. Nothing. They were dead in the water. Changed coach. Monty's got them believing right now. But it's like they got nothing to lose. They were dead. So that I don't like playing teams like that. Now, on the flip side of things, I agree with somebody in chat said that earlier. Oh, exactly. Sorry. I don't think the Jets want to play the Blues. I agree with that. But on the flip side of things, too, if you're the Blues, do you really want to play the Jets that have been so dominant all year, right? So you can look at it 2 ways. But when it comes down to the 8th spot, like you got, and I'm not comparing them to the, 19 St. Louis Blues.
Yeah. 19.
I'm just saying that it's a team that's tough to put away because they've just been playing free house money for months. You know what I mean? And sometimes when your coach he's a good, like Monty's really good people person, right? Forget about hockey, like X's and O's, right? I'm not even talking about that. But he's got those guys rallying behind whatever the message is. And sometimes that can be tough to put away. You know what I mean? So I don't think there'll be an easy pushover if they go in there. I'm not telling you that they scare me. I'm saying that for a team that's going to play them in the opening round, especially, they really got nothing to lose.
Is there a worse look for the Boston Bruins than the St. Louis Blues being in the playoffs right now?
Yeah, but he didn't want to be there, right? So that's a different, different thing, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, with the Blues, yeah, they're playing free, but if I'm St. Louis, I want Winnipeg. Gabe Vilardi is week to week and does not look like. I mean, it did not when they were talking about it. It did not sound like they were planning on Gabe Vilardi being around for the opening of the postseason for them, and that's a huge blow because their first line has been a really, really big part of their success. They were already lacking a legitimate number two center. Now you're going to have Vlad Nemesnikov, Adam Lowry, but you're missing like the third guy that made your top line that kind of brought your top line together with Connor and Scheifele. Um, I don't know. I mean, you have all the demons, all the playoff demons that Winnipeg is going to get. If they get St. Louis and St. Louis goes in and steals one of those first two games, how do the Jets respond? How tight do they get?
Yeah.
Because emotionally they're going to be that's going to be
Here
a
we
mess.
go again. Yeah.
Exactly. Like that, like you can see where they drop any and I think this will be true of any opponent if they don't win the first two games at home. That becomes
Yeah.
a big story for me is what happens to the Jets. If Hellebuck doesn't look dominant, if they look vulnerable, is this going to be, oh God, here we go again for them? Because you can
It's a fair point.
already see some of the cracks in the foundation are showing up now. And with St. Louis, again, as you guys have said, they're playing free. They've got it. They've got the jump. They've got the confidence. They've got a goaltender that's done this before in Binnington. Like there's.
And he beat
I think the
Hellebuck at
first.
Four Nations.
Yeah, like I think
I'm saying.
that there's absolutely a possibility of some first round scaries here with that matchup now. This also requires Minnesota to hold them off, and I'm not convinced that's going to happen. So we're probably going to be looking at a Vegas St. Louis series, which would be
That's possible.
fine.
Yeah.
I don't feel. I really don't feel like any kind of way about that.
Look, I love the story and I love the idea that Winnipeg has these consistent issues in the playoffs, especially. But I look at that St. Louis team, and to be frank with you, I don't think it's built to win in the playoffs. Yes, if Jordan Binnington plays out of his mind and posts a 940, sure, any team can win when their goalie just goes nuclear. I get it, but that's a team that scores by committee, and we see year after year after year after year. Scoring by committee in the playoffs is really, really, really hard to be a successful team.
Yeah. I mean, you need some guys to drag you into it.
Yep.
When you're down and out. I mean, look at this is always for my money. This has always been Carolina's great problem, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like they don't when they get into the hard moments, they don't have a couple of guys that drag them out of the pits and just get them through those games.
Yep.
Do the Blues have that right now? I don't know that Robert Thomas and Pavel Buchnevich and Jordan Kyrou were those guys for me. Dylan Holloway, Jake Neighbors. I know some of them are playing great right now. Is that going to
Holloway's playing
continue? Holloway looks.
Oh, it's on fire.
Holloway looks. Yeah, he looks like exactly what the Edmonton Oilers need. Funny enough, but
yeah, playoffs are a different
I'm just
beast.
kind
Though.
of like it's so easy to buy into teams when they're at their absolute peak.
Right.
Like Colorado's what 11-1-1 in their last 13 games, something like that.
Yep.
Like, are we buying into this? That now the Avs are an 800 hockey team? Like, come on.
I mean, do I think Colorado's good? Yes. Do I think they're that good? No, you'd have to be crazy.
I think Colorado's awesome.
Right.
But they have the best combination of these things, right? They've got a goaltender. They've got two goaltenders playing well. They have elite players, and they have depth. They've got all the combinations of it. Do any of these other teams have that? And that's where I'm just not really sold on any of these any of these other teams, especially with the injury issues that have cropped up. Heiskanen for Dallas is a huge thing, and now Velarde in Winnipeg that's a big loss for them.
Yeah, I do think they have multiple problems here. We do have to pay a few bills here, though, so let's make sure we get to that. And Tiff, you might have to help me out here because my internet is not working. So we're definitely very prepared. Thank you. Make sure you're keeping yourself healthier than my internet connection right now. It's not just physical health, though, which, everyone on this pod, I feel like we've done pretty good with our physical health lately. He's walking 1,000,000 steps a mile.
Feel good.
You also need to be taking care of your mental health. You need to be taking care of your sleep health, which I did not do tonight. Did not get enough sleep, but that's okay. We'll do better next time. UC Health is there to help you with whatever you need. You can get hooked up at uchealth.org. Make sure you're living like there is a tomorrow with UC Health. Again, uchealth.org for all of your health needs. Get in with them. Make sure you're taking care of business and doing what you need to do. Once you've taken care of UC Health, also, get in with Volo Sports. Jump on with Volo. Make sure you're doing what you need to do with getting healthy, sort of. I mean, it's not really for health, but you can be healthy with Volo, I should say. You go play sports. That's it. That's the entire concept of Volo, is you go play sports. Whatever sport you want, volleyball, kickball, soccer, flag football, basketball, they got it all. You can get $10 off with code DNVR10. You can get the Volo Pass for all of the spring leagues, which are going on right now. You can sign up by yourself with a partial team or a full team. It's a great way to socialize, meet new people, play a bunch of sports everywhere in the country, really. In Colorado, you can get it anywhere in Denver, anywhere in the major cities of Colorado. But a bunch of states have a Volo, so go look at your local ones. Use that DNVR10 code, get $10 off, and then join a league that comes with a DNVR bar and plays Flip Cup after they're done with the sports. That's
for sure. I'm a first rounder. If there's a draft, Volo draft, volleyball. For sure, I'm a first rounder
every time.
For sure. I told you.
4 rounds higher than you got drafted in the NHL, buddy. That's
Team Canada, Pan Am Games, 87, beach volleyball.
Again, check out the Volo Pass. Use the DNVR10 code over at Volo Sports. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Look.
Take that off. What is it? Put that away.
Do we really think Colorado's the most legit team in the West? Are we really about to make that claim?
Okay.
Who would you pick?
I'm going to go first. How's that?
Go off.
I'm going to tell you. I'm making jokes about Volo, first rounder in volleyball, but, my nickname is the Cat. So that's where Kivy the Cat comes from. Yeah. So, yes. That is being sarcastic. Where I'm not being sarcastic is the Avs are going to come out of the West. I'm telling you, and I'm convinced. And do I believe it? Absolutely believe it. Are they showing it to me since the trade deadline? Yes. Hell yes. I mean, there's a no-brainer
hard to argue
for me.
Post-trade deadline.
They have everything really now. You got everything. You got goaltending. You got special teams. You got depth at center. You got the best player in the world at forward. You got the best player in the world on D. You just got to go out there, knock on wood, make sure you stay healthy. And then you got the unicorns of the world, like the Leckies and whatever his name, the Big 13 there, Val. And then you got Taze and guys like that, Sammy G. So you're built to go a long way. You're built to come out of the West. And that's why you do what you did at the deadline. So, yes, I absolutely love what they did. I absolutely feel confident that they will come out of the West. Is it going to be a rough road? Yeah, we talked about it 5 minutes ago. It's a gauntlet. The West is a gauntlet. There's some good teams, and it's going to be a good team right off the bat, being the Dallas Stars. So I think you're in for a long spring. That's not putting the cart ahead of the horse. It's actually my belief. If it wasn't my belief, I would tell you something else. Like, we weren't too sure in January. We're missing a few things. We were missing some passion. We were missing some stuff. I think they addressed every situation to put themselves in that conversation. And I think you look around the league and you talk around the league, it's, yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I if like realistic, who would you pick to beat them?
If I don't know that I'd pick anyone to beat them heads up, but I don't think you'd have a cakewalk through a team like Edmonton if McDavid and Draisaitl get healthy in the playoffs and they go on a run. I understand Stuart Skinner's been bad this year. I'm not trying to say he's going to revive his career or anything, but he was 1 goal away from winning a Stanley Cup last year. He has it in the bag somewhere to play good hockey, even if he has been bad this year.
That's why it's a gauntlet.
Yeah,
that's
exactly
what I meant by that. It's a dogfight every series. But the way I look at it, and I'll give you the floor after, my friend, I look at it a little bit like somebody said, Tiff put it up, like, would you want to play, St. Louis? The way I look at it is, do you really think that right now one team in the West is built to beat the Avs 4 times in 7 games? That's how I look at it.
The healthy version of Dallas, maybe?
Dallas
no, but I can't. But for me, I would say, the Avs are going to win 4 games out of 7.
If Dallas was fully healthy, I'd pick the Avs in 7. Like that would be my pick.
That's it.
Like,
I agree, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but that's why it's my pick to come out of the West. We are an Avs podcast, yes. We do have an allegiance to the Avs in a sense that we cheer for the Avs, but that's my realistic take. Is it a guarantee? Yeah, sure, I'll make it a guarantee. You know what I mean?
You already got to pay your last guarantee, buddy. Don't go there.
No, I mean, I did. Somebody asked about the Speedo. I went. I was at DIA a couple days ago. I got arrested. I did C gates to the baggage claim on a Speedo. I got arrested. We have footage coming very soon of it. So, but I do
fun assignment.
I mean, it was weird. Rudo was like vlogging and running, and it was crazy. He got arrested too, but whatever.
Not my first time.
Conspiracy. But I do. I mean, I do believe in that's who comes out for all the reasons.
Okay.
I think the Avs getting Dallas in round 1 with potentially either no Miro Heiskanen or a seriously compromised Miro Heiskanen it sets them up to really
take
get
care of that.
Yeah, because they're gonna get Tyler Seguin back. The Avs are gonna get Gabe Landeskog back. Like, we don't know for how long, but sure, that guy's coming back. But it's really like you're starting to look at it and you're going, this is setting up decently for the Avs. Because if St. Louis and Winnipeg go in round 1, St. Louis could come out of that, and I think the Avs would be comfortable with that. And if it's Winnipeg that comes out of it, I think they're also comfortable with that. So I'm not too worried about that. But the Avs right now, the Avs right now, I think, are just set up better. I like when you check the boxes going down the list. How do they match up?
Yep.
I like how they match up against everybody, and especially given how some of these guys have played. Matthias Ekholm is a really important part of what happens in Edmonton. I know everybody, McDavid, Draisaitl, those guys have to be healthy. Obviously, those guys have to be healthy. McKinnon and Makar have to be healthy for Colorado. Otherwise, we're not having this conversation.
Straight up.
But Matthias Ekholm's a really, really important X factor for them, like Devon Taves level X factor for them. And he has looked old and beat up this year, where you're starting to wonder,
did he hit the wall?
Last year might have been it for them.
Yeah.
Like last year might have been the run where it all set up very nicely for the Oilers. They got Artur Shilovs in round 2. Like it was, it really did set up nicely for them to have the run that they had. This is it. If Colorado's going to beat Dallas, if Bednar's going to slay the Pete DeBoer beast, this should be it. This should be it.
Really the dragon.
Look, we saw what happened when they slayed that second round dragon in 22. It gave them a huge lift, and they were awesome the last 2 rounds. They were awesome the first 2 rounds. Let's be real. They went 16-4.
But that Darren Helm goal sure put a lot of hopes into people's minds. God, what a goal.
Yeah. what a
I'll
goal to
die on the
McKinnon
hill.
was in
It
Game
should have
5. That
been
should have been the
McKinnon's
game winner.
greatest goal of his career. Yeah.
Exactly. I can't talk about it. Still too soon. So I'm I'm comfortable right now with the Avs. Obviously, somebody gets hurt between now and then. We'll see, but I'm comfortable with what Colorado puts on the ice because they look great. You look at their underlings, they look great. You look at them just before the trade deadline, really after Four Nations break. You look at the Avs, they've been awesome. Then
Yep.
uh, after the trade deadline, they've been awesome.
Yep.
Their goaltending is great. Their defense has really started. Their goaltending has, or their defense has really started to put the screws to teams. And it's not even healthy.
Yeah.
So
Since the Four Nations,
they're
the only disappointing loss is the St. Louis one, I think. You lost that game to Nashville, but you played great. And then you had the stupid Minnesota game.
yeah, you had the stupid Minnesota game, which made me question all of my life choices that I had to sit through that. But then you had two regulation losses, Nashville and Toronto. Both of those, they played really well in those games. That's just how hockey be sometimes.
Yep.
It's just like that. The only game that was like, what is this? What is this? Is that St. Louis? Is the loss in St. Louis on the
Yeah.
Sega Bobber right out of the break?
It was bad.
We were mad.
Those
We had
two
red flags.
like, yeah, the difference in my emotions, those two losses of being like, maybe this team just doesn't have it, to today
Yeah.
is like miles of difference.
Well, and big week for the Avs too.
Yep.
You know, big
True.
week for them because they get the Kings and the Blues.
It could help define the playoff picture, to be honest. I'm probably not going to change much about the Avs position, but the rest of the Western playoffs could help define it for sure.
Yeah, and I'm saying I like how they're built. I like how they match up. Well, they get two of them this week.
Yep.
You get two of the hottest teams out there this week. So
we've tiptoed
Prove it.
around it. We've mentioned them a few times. Vegas. What are they?
they're really good. They're really good. A hurdle injury would, for my money, be a dagger to them. I don't think
For
they
sure.
overcome
He's
that
been good.
because
They
they
look
have to have that.
shouldery too. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but
Yeah, they have to have hurdle. Don't take a penalty against them because, God, they're good. They look really good. They outside of Dallas, they are probably the other team that I'm like, this team would give anyone fits. They're good offensively. They're big defensively. Their goaltending really hasn't been very good. It's not been bad, but
I mean, I feel like
it's
lot of
iffy enough that I'm just
yeah. When they traded Logan Thompson, everyone who didn't buy into the Aiden Hill Kool-Aid saw this coming. Like,
yeah, like, hey, he's not been great shakes, and Samsonov has really had a tough second half for him. I mean,
pretty typical of him,
Yeah.
but
Not a fan.
yeah, right, exactly. Another one where you're like, wow, what a shock.
yeah, fair. I mean, it feels like that's the conversation for a decent number of teams in the Pacific, right? You're asking the same thing of Edmonton. I know you have other problems at home and injuries, but Skinner has not been particularly great this year.
Well, and those are tied together.
Yep, true.
Their defense falling apart. And Stuart Skinner's not a steal you games kind of goalie.
Yep,
He's put me in a good defensive environment, and I can not lose you games. But the defensive environment in Edmonton has been so bad over the last 30 games.
Yep,
that Skinner can't do that.
Vegas is
That's
not that
fair.
bad. Not the same cookie there. Not that Vegas is not the team they were 2 years ago. They've lost a number of different pieces there, but clearly at the top, they've still got a lot. Even if you don't know about the hurdle injury, you've got Eichel, you've got Mark Stone, you've got the pieces there. To be honest, with a healthy hurdle, they haven't even really missed Chandler Stevenson at all. So,
well, yeah, I mean, Dorofeyev having a 30-goal season, you're just like, well,
Must
No
be
problem.
Nice. Yep.
Their back end's nice too, and
Yeah.
Theodore, and
A lot of experience of quality back
Getting
end.
Theodore back is a really good boost for them. Theodore,
Eichel's a stud. He's a stud. Like I am. He's just a stud. He's a legit, number one center that can win you a series, and he's good. Big boy. Love him.
Okay. Look, I don't have any problems with us feeling like the Avs may well be the most legit team coming out of the West. Obviously, you have to play the games. You have to go get it done. You have to get injury luck. A million different things could happen over the next 3 weeks, let alone when you get into the playoffs. But let's quickly look at the East. And, we cover the Avs. We watch the West a whole lot more closely than we do the East. So take our Eastern takes with a grain of salt, certainly. But you look at the Atlantic, you have a bunch of teams with less points than the Avs. I don't know that you can take any of those teams as really true high-end cup contenders.
Yeah.
And then you go into the Metro, and I mean, sure, I never want to count out teams that have gone on deep runs in recent years, but Florida has been going through some injury stuff. The more interesting conversation for the East than the top of it is really that playoff race, which has been the New York Rangers squandering it. You already mentioned, AJ, you don't believe in Ottawa. I think Montreal feels like the fan favorite team that everyone wants to see get in.
Let's go, Habs. That atmosphere is crazy. I want to see it. I want to watch it. I want to watch them. I remember living through the Yaroslav Halak stolen series. Habs Caps. I want to see it again.
That 93
I
run.
want Montevo to do it again.
That 93 run was sick. 11 overtime wins. 11 out of 16 overtime wins.
That's a lot, man.
It's honestly, there's a bunch of great storylines looking at it here. The Metro has the points, but honestly also seems like frauds. You have that Washington team we've talked about riding the PDO. You have this Carolina team that has the Mikko debacle. It feels like has derailed them as a franchise in some ways. New Jersey's injuries we talked about.
Yeah.
The East is weird, man. It's weird. I don't know what to make of it.
Oh, it's a crap.
Carolina also has just not been good on the road.
Yep.
Just not a very good road team. We always talk like you want to go 500 on the road. That's where they are. Like dead 500. Right at it. But
didn't they go like 7 or 8-0 in Carolina since Mikko left though? Because they were like, oh yeah, us against the world. No,
they are 8-2 in their last 10.
Yeah, there you go.
They've been awesome.
Yeah.
They've been awesome. But it's how do you feel about that roster? Is it better than last year? What's changed? We're just
I totally agree with that one.
Hope that it just goes better this time. Like I think Carolina's a hard out. I don't think that's an easy team to beat ever, let alone in a best of 7.
Yeah.
But they still don't have a guy. Mikko was supposed to be that guy for them.
I mean, you're looking Carolina, New Jersey as a potential first round matchup.
Yep.
No, thank you, sir. I will watch other things. The Atlantic, you have another case of arguably the 3 best teams because I'm out here openly disrespecting Washington, I guess. But Toronto, Florida, Tampa Bay, like that's a really tough trio of teams, and all 3 of them have kind of, I don't want to say underperformed, but they've had like stretches where they've been awesome during the regular season, and none of those stretches is right now. And it's always teams that get hot going into the playoffs are easy to believe in. Teams that are really blah going into the playoffs, you're like, no, you're pretty blah though. Not really a huge believer in this.
I mean, some yes, some no, right? When you look at a team like Florida, they have the grind and the jam. Obviously, they've been to back-to-back cup
Tampa
finals.
Bay.
You're just not going to count out teams like that. A team like Toronto, a little bit different. You got a team that's gotten out of the first round once in the last 5 years. If that team's not hot going into the playoffs, I don't know. It might be okay to count them out, or at least easier to count them out.
Yeah, Toronto Ottawa first round series could be a little bit of fun. Like, it could be a good time, right?
It wasn't fun in 01 when we lost 4 straight. Just saying.
Well,
You can run that back.
you should have played better.
We were the number 1 seed in the East, and we went 4 straight. Out. Not even close. Buddy, whatever.
I know we talked about Montreal, and we don't have to go too deep into it, but you also have, look, Columbus still has a legitimate shot to make the wild card. AJ's Islanders still have a very legitimate shot to make the wild card.
It's favorite team.
Baby.
Ottawa probably pretty safe. It would take a lot for them to chase down Ottawa, but that last wild card spot is definitely up for grabs.
The Islanders had a win stolen from them, correct? Like, we can agree that goaltender interference was nonsense.
It was definitely
stupid.
Dumb. Yeah.
Okay. So that's a point that the Islanders are owed by the universe.
All right, they can have that point if we get the point back for the stupid ref goal. All right.
Oh, dude. That was a tough one, man. It sucked to lose a game like that. To just be like, what? What even is this?
The thing
Palmieri was so mad.
On the interference,
like this, he's like, oh man, he was mad.
The thing about plays like that, and it's weird, and shout out to Steve Dangle because he said this on the show on his review of the Avs game on the ref goal. When goals like that or taken away goals like that happen, I think everybody thinks the same thing, where it's like, oh, that's the game-winning goal, or oh, that was the game-losing play. Like, you just know in the moment, like, that stupid thing just ended the game, and it sucks. It just sucks, dude.
It really kind of did, because Colorado never really recovered in that game, which sucked because there was like 13 minutes or something left in that game. They had enough time to get back on the horse, and they just never really did.
Yep.
So that was a little disappointing.
It's the way it plays out sometimes with stupid stuff like that. I don't know what you can do about it. I blind picking, not really blind, but snap picking. Who do you think comes out of the East?
We just did this last week, right?
Did we for the East?
Yeah, and I wanted to pick the Islanders, and you guys yelled at me, and then they rattled off a handful of wins, and I was hey, cool.
Who comes out of the East, not who gets in?
Oh, like in the bracket? Oh, buddy. Tampa Bay.
All right. I'm going to go Washington just because.
I will not be picking Washington, but
just because Chikrin doesn't use light bulbs anymore. He just uses candles. So that's why. They're going to conserve their energy.
He can afford light bulbs now, I think. Yeah. So
doesn't he drink like raw milk or something? Didn't What Chaos do a whole thing about this?
Yeah, he eats like hearts and
him and Liver King doing
stuff. No, he doesn't.
He's on the Liver King diet? Okay.
He doesn't use light bulbs anymore. He just uses candles. No more light bulbs. So
what's he need all that money for?
I don't know.
That was a rough contract too.
Yeah, it was. I'm trying to think which team matches up worst against the Avs so that I can pick them.
Ottawa's a pretty bad matchup.
Yeah, all right. I'm down. Ottawa surges through.
I was going to say, where are you going with that? I get it now. All right. Florida's a good pick, too. I mean, God.
Yeah, I mean.
When is it going to run? I mean, it's 2 years in a row in the finals, right? When does it
I mean, Florida's situation is weird, right? Because, how healthy is Tkachuk going to be? Ekblad is scheduled to come back in, game 4 of round 1.
The Rat's skating right now.
Yeah. They could power up in the first round if they survive it, for sure. But
yeah,
don't know.
Yeah, I just the two Florida teams look like the best equipped, but also kind of weak at the bottom of their lineups, and you have to expect that the fatigue for Florida will catch up because unlike with Tampa Bay's 3 straight Stanley Cup final run, Florida will have done it in actual full seasons and not some nonsense. So you have to think that fatigue will eventually wear them down, and they'll get to a conference final and they'll just be like, nope, gassed. Don't have this anymore.
Not quite the same team defensively either. Not that they aren't still very good, but the loss of a piece like Montour for them, the Ekblad situation weird, but
yeah.
Seth Jones
didn't really
kind of a
move that
slow
needle
start
for me.
Yeah, slow start for him down there. So, it's kind of it's like the best case scenario for these teams. Like when you see them on their best days, it's not hard to envision them as cup contenders. You can buy into them being really, really good. But you just see so many segments of the year where you're like, yeah, they're like 6-4 in their last 10, where you're like, yeah, all right. They're solid. I don't want Carolina to figure it out because they play such a suffocating, exhausting style that I'm just like, please don't.
Yeah. If nothing else, that's tough to watch.
I like Carolina, so I wouldn't mind that if it's not going to be Colorado. I just don't want to watch that series.
Yeah, exactly.
You like their barbecue or their team? You said you like Carolina.
Their team, their barbecue's garbage.
He's from Texas, buddy. That's
true. It's like, sorry, tough spot there.
KC Barbecue special shout out, also great.
Yeah, true.
I mean, no. I want to say no bad teams make the playoffs, but Washington made the playoffs last year, so I don't know that I can even really say that.
How fun would it be? So Washington made the playoffs last year, and everybody was like, "This is a waste of time," and the Rangers dispatched them pretty easily. It'd be pretty funny if the reverse happened this year.
The Rangers
Washington's
sneak
the one seed.
in.
Yeah, the Rangers sneak in, and everybody's like, "What a waste of time!" And then the Rangers beat them again.
Rangers winning 4. I'm down. I can live with that timeline. We have one very mad chatter about the LA Kings. He left, I think, but he was mad earlier. He was mad last time we talked about this. We didn't really talk about LA too much.
LA's outstanding. They're 3 losses in regulation this year at home. They've been unbelievable. They just haven't been that good on the road.
Yeah, they're also well below 500 on the road.
That's my point. Like it's 2 different teams. It's weird. You know what I mean? So it's hey, they don't give up a lot of goals. They play really well structured defense. They thought it was going to be changed after last year, after McClellan left, but under Haler, it's a little bit of the same. They don't score many goals, but they're dynamite at home. What can you say? So if they get home ice against Edmonton, maybe that's the year that they go through. You know what I mean? I think that's what they're banking on. This will be a fun game tomorrow. I think it starts at midnight tomorrow. It's like, what is it, like 8:20 start?
Yeah,
or
it's
something?
gonna be an 8:20.
That is a late start. Missouri and Europe, that's gonna be a late one.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it might be early in Europe at that point.
Or maybe it'll be up. Yeah, you can have a shower, eggs, breakfast, OJ, and the game will be there. But Kings are a good team. They're a systematic team, and I mean, what else can you say about them? I mean, they're a great home team. Like they've been great at home. They've been well
really
below average
with them.
Yeah.
They really struggle to score. I know that they put up 7 goals in back-to-back games over the weekend. I'm aware. But they struggle to score on a consistent basis. They need great goaltending, and they've been a bad road team.
Nope.
Those are some big, like really big red flags.
Yes, but would they have been a better team if the refs let the goalie fight happen?
Yes. The whole world would have been a better place.
Hard agree.
How many goalie fights have you seen in person?
Oh, buddy, I come from a different era.
I know. That's why I'm asking. Most of us, I imagine the number is like 0 or maybe 1.
Buddy, those rookie games back then, I told you there wasn't enough players by the end of the game. Like you have to shut the game down with 12 minutes to go in the third because there was no more goalies or players, and they sent people home. All right, thanks for coming. No, I mean I've seen quite a few. They're fun, but I just feel that they're so big. Their chest protectors, their arms. It just looks like cool, but they don't really get hurt.
Very quickly here, we are heading into overtime for this conversation. So join us online at thednvr.com to see the wrap up of the show. If you're watching us on television, we appreciate you all hanging out. We'll see you in the chat. All righty.
Ron Hextall was tough.
everybody was tough back in your
era. If he went
buddy.
after you, like, I swear, I mean, that was a good one. Felix Potvin versus Ron Hextall. Freaking the cat did great. Not Kivy, but Felix the cat.
Yeah, got it.
He did great. Emery was tough. He was a really tough goaltender. Who else? Gart Snow was tough. Really tough.
Yeah.
I know you read the scouting reports, and it was like, shoot 5-hole on him. Like, he doesn't really like to stop the puck behind the net. And beware, he's a lefty. And you're like, what? Scouting reports for goalies. I don't think you see that nowadays. No, it's more like
shoot high glove.
Shoot high glove. They don't really talk about if he throws lefts or rights. Different era.
He will eat your heart out. Two of LA's regulation losses came in November to Vancouver and Buffalo.
But they don't lose at home.
Until the playoffs, when they lose at home.
They don't lose. It's amazing.
Look, I've said my piece with LA. I'll take them seriously when they can beat Edmonton. Until then.
Yeah. The regulation home losses are Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Vancouver.
Those are teams for sure.
What?
What
a list.
All right. One last thing, and then we'll get out of here, boys. What do you think is a sleeper potential upset team in the playoffs?
Well, I mean,
or who do you like most of the lower seeds?
Oh.
To be able to do some damage.
The layup here is St. Louis, right?
I'm good with it.
Like, just because they're playing so well right now.
Yeah.
But I think if they find a way to get in, the team that would make me really nervous would be Calgary, just because Dustin Wolf is awesome.
A beast, yeah.
And we know, I don't think he can win them a cup. I don't think it's multiple rounds, but if on for a series, he could steal a series.
No doubt.
I was going to say maybe the team I picked on the East to come out was Washington. So maybe the team can easily get upset would be Washington as well. You know what I mean? Like, right? Because I don't know. Did you put him first this year? Like, no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So it's like, So, you know what I mean? So I think it goes both ways for them. It could be an upset, or it could be
on track to play the Habs,
or come out of the East. I don't know. Again, Montreal might pick if they get in.
Yeah.
Do the Wild get Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek back at any
They're
point?
Skating right now.
They do.
They're skating.
If they get them back, that's not a team I want any part of in round one.
Yeah,
I'm good. They will.
I like
they
Wild.
will
They're feisty.
just beat the shit out of you, dude.
Yeah.
They will. Beating every team that has to beat them in the postseason comes out of it way worse for wear for the next series.
I like Billy. Billy again. He's a warrior.
Okay. I like your picks. I don't know that I have a great pick. I'll stick with my Ottawa's gonna win the East.
Hell yeah.
We'll stick with that.
I like that you appreciate this isn't real. None of this matters. It's fine. I'm just gonna say some shit. I like that approach.
Sometimes you just gotta pop off. All right.
Apparently, yesterday we saw that.
Look, if the biggest insiders in the league can do it, I can do it. It's fine. We are gonna wrap up today's show. We appreciate everybody hanging out.
Whoa.
What?
Are you trying to tell me that Cal Ritchie's not Patrice Bergeron?
If anyone wants to bet, I'll bet anyone who takes it right now that Cal Ritchie does not win a Selke in his career. I'll bet whatever you want to bet.
One?
Not even one. Whatever you want to bet, I will take it today.
God. This guy, this hating ass energy.
We are done, though. We appreciate y'all. We are out of here for the day. Obviously, game day tomorrow. Very late one, but we'll be here with you. This has been the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by Bet365.
Go Terriers.
We all silly like the mayor.